How you doing, everyone? Thanks for joining me for my look back on the crazy year that was 2020. So before we get going, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like and leave a comment below. Okay, let's have a look back at the year that was like no other. So I started the year back in January, recovering from a fractured ankle that I got at the end of November. So beginning of January, my boot came off and I was able to walk about a bit. So that was great, big relief. Boot was finally off and I had a race due in February. So it was getting myself ready, back up and running again. Also, I just started this crazy adventure that is YouTube. So YouTube, still totally new to me. Still figuring out what to do, how to shoot videos, how to edit, how to do everything. So January was an interesting month. And in February, I actually had a trail half marathon, which was as long as I wanted to go after having fractured my ankle at the end of 19. So actually running a race in February in the snow, great event, really enjoyed it. But who'd have thought that would have been your one and only race of the year? You just didn't think this would happen. So there's a link to the Glentress half marathon just up here. And YouTube wise, over the course of January and February, my first 2 full months of actually posting videos, by the end of February, I had 17 subscribers. So totally fresh to it. March was to be my last month as the manager of the outdoor sports shop I'd managed for the past 20 odd years. So I was supposed to be moving into a new role, running role for the company from the beginning of April. I'd done this role last year as well, going around the country and selling running gear at different running events around the country. But you couldn't do both. You couldn't do that role and manage a shop. So I'd chosen to go down the route of taking on the new role. So that was to start at the beginning of April. So March, last month of doing the job I'd done for a long time. I needed a change. So running was going well in March. My ankle had totally healed and I was upping the miles a little bit. Everything was going really well. And by the end of March, I'd hit 36 subscribers. So 3 months, 36 subscribers. So it was going pretty slowly. So there were still group runs going on in March. I'd managed to have a trip down to Innovate headquarters to have a run with loads of other people and test some kit out. Normally do that on a yearly basis, which is great. Don't think that's going to be happening this year for some reason. Wonder why. So April came and we'd been in lockdown for about a week, had we? Is that when it started? Can't remember. It was the end of March, wasn't it, when we went into proper lockdown. So by the time April came, I was on furlough. I'd stopped being the manager. The weather was amazing and you weren't supposed to travel or anything because we were in lockdown. But you were allowed to go for a run from home. Luckily, I live where I live, which is an amazing place to go running. So right out the door, straight on the trails. I was absolutely loving it. It was great. I know lots of people probably weren't loving it, being on furlough, but for me, I was off. The weather was good and I was able to run. I was thinking of it as being able to get paid to go running. It was great. So the beginning of May came and Jake had got me an entry to a virtual race. I'd never done a virtual race before, so he'd got me an entry to the Great Virtual Race Across Tennessee, which was a 1,000-kilometer race, and you had May, June, July and August to do it. So weather was still good and my running was going well. Didn't have any issues, no injuries. I was getting out, having a great time on the trails. So in May, I was doing 50-mile weeks, followed by 60-mile weeks, 70-mile week, 80-mile week. So just ramping up the mileage and I was absolutely loving it. And by the end of May, I'd managed to get to 140 subscribers. So starting to turn up a little bit. It'd gone the first few months of virtually nobody looking at the videos at all, to getting a little bit of interest, a few more subscribers, and the watch time was starting to go from pan flat to up a little bit. So June came along, still off work, still glorious weather, still having a great time. This was awesome. What a year. Beginning of June, got to towards the end of the first week, did a 75-mile week, pulled my calf, tore my calf, did something to my calf, didn't know what I'd done, but my calf was sore. So that was pretty much it. I had to take the rest of June off, so no more running for the month of June. So I'd stopped my rule. I've got a rule of build for kind of like 3 weeks in your mileage, and then the following week have an easier week, and then start to build again. So you should keep progressing, should give your body time to recover, and you shouldn't particularly get injured so easily. I totally ignored that. I was having such a good time just building miles each week. I knew, it's probably a week before I had an injury, I did say to myself, I really do need to take it easy, but I'll just have another good week as well. I'll just keep building for one more week. And then lo and behold, calf goes. So don't just keep going forward when you're running well, because usually something happens soon afterwards. So by the end of June, I'd managed to hit 201 subscribers. So July started, calf still wasn't right, but I was quite conscious that I was still in this virtual race, great virtual race across Tennessee. So I wanted to get the miles in. So I started to walk. So I was walking a fair bit, with occasionally trying a short run just to see how it was. And then it'd play up a little bit and I'd ease back and have to start walking again. But I was wanting to get those miles logged. Also, I helped out with a friend, Ian Stewart from a trail run in Scotland, who was setting a new record for running all the Munros in the Cairngorm National Park. Munro's mountain over 3,000 feet. So he was doing all 58 of them, one after the other. So I went out on a couple of days, different days to help him. I can't remember how long he took, but there's a video up here on that one. I think there's a video up there. I can't remember now. If there's a link that appears, there's a video. And if there's no link, I'm waffling. But when I did go out and help him towards the end on his final night, it was just walking. There wasn't really any running involved. And it was right through the night up his last couple of Munros. So that was really good to get out and help somebody achieve their goal. So August for me was all about getting the miles in to finish this virtual race. I couldn't run. I just simply could not run. My calf was not right at all. So it ended up being a real struggle to walk the miles in. So August was just full of loads of walks. Can't remember the kind of distance of walks, but I had to get X amount of miles in. I knew what I had to do, and I made sure I did it. So August was about finishing that race. Plus, with me not going for lots of runs through July and August, that was also giving me more time to concentrate on the YouTube channel and try and find content and continue to learn how to do it. I was still new to it. So September came. Soon September came. At the beginning of September is Jake's birthday. So we headed off to Ingliston racetrack to have a go in some supercars, which was great fun. Jake's done it before, really enjoys it, and I had a blast as well. So that was good. For my running, September was a rest month, basically. I'd finished my virtual race in August. I'd put my calf through more than it should have been put through. So I just needed to take it easy and try and heal the calf. So far this year just seemed to be annoyingly interrupted by a calf injury. Started the year with I couldn't really run properly with a fracture, getting over that. Middle of the year, picked up the calf. So by the time we got to September, it was time to rest that. Didn't do anything much for the first couple of weeks, and then started to do some easy walks and some bike rides as well. And again, concentrate on YouTube. And September was also the month where I'd managed to get the join around to start to build the man cave. So I planned it through the summer months, sat in the garden. I can't remember when it was. I think it was July when I was sat there thinking, how can I stop myself from getting injured? I know, build a cave, build a gym, become stronger, fitter and healthier. Hopefully that will help reduce things like that. Plus, I'll have a great YouTube studio. So September came along, got the join around, and he was started to build the cave. Probably took about a month to build it, and then into October, the internals and me decorating it. So September was a pretty busy month, and I was still off work as well. So by the end of September, I'd managed to get to 430 subscribers. So it was still going up. Watch time and subscribers had pretty much been almost non-existent for the first definitely 3 months. Nothing happened at all. Then it slowly started to grow. And over the summer months, I was getting a bit more traction, more subscribers, and more view and watch time, which was great. So October came, and after the first week of October, the man cave was finished. It was done, it was dusted. I'd managed to get the treadmill, build the treadmill, paint, decorate, put shelves up. So everything was ready in the man cave. First thing I did, start yoga for every day for a month, because I tried to start running again. I could still feel the calf, still annoyingly stopping me doing the mileage that I'm used to doing. It's a bit bizarre, because normally most people know me for running long distances and going out running a long time. I started a YouTube channel in 2020, and I've ran less miles this year than I have done for years, through one thing or another. So I eventually get to start promoting running, long distance running, and I can't run long distances. What a year. Bit frustrating, but thankfully you stuck with me, so that's great. November. So November starts and I've got to go back to work. So I'd had some conversations with my bosses in October, and it had become apparent that my new job role of traveling around the country, going to different running events, had pretty much died off due to COVID. There were no running events, there were no mass gatherings. It wasn't possible for me to do what I was supposed to be doing. My manager's job that I had been doing for a long time, we had a new manager, so that position had gone. But I didn't want to go back to that position anyway. I needed a change. I'd done that for a long time. I was hopeful to go back to the new role, but totally understandable. You can't go to events that aren't there. So I decided to go back to work part-time, which meant I'd have more time off. I'd have less money. So I'm now skint, but I am off a lot more, which has given me time to dedicate to becoming stronger, fitter, healthier, and hopefully reduce injuries in the future, and to put in the work for YouTube. YouTube does take a lot of work, and I enjoy doing it. It's something fresh and new, which I've been needing to do for a long time. So that's great. So November started, back to work, but just on a part-time basis. And on the 7th of November, I managed to hit the magical number, which is your first well, it's not your first, 100 subscribers is your first milestone, After that, it's 500. So on the 7th of November, I managed to get to 500 subscribers. So that was great. Thanks everyone. So we entered December. December, my running is slowly starting to come back. Calf still not 100%, but it's definitely better than it was. And then I'm out for a run one day. It's just typical of this year. I'd been out over total uneven, boggy, hilly, icy terrain all over the place. I'd just like to wander off, go off the beaten path and make my own routes. Done one of those and then came across a well-manicured, easy trail that you just cannot go wrong on. I was on that trail for about a minute, went over on my ankle. So didn't think much of it. Thought, oh, went over on my ankle, I'll be okay. Run it off, I'll be fine. But as you've seen through my latest videos, my ankle has not been happy. So that's still recovering from that, which is just typical of 2020 in my running. I've had loads of time off. I've enjoyed being out, but I've just been one thing after another. Calf, foot, ankle, what the heck? So with the ankle, I've had it seen to very recently. Soft tissue damage is the issue, so nothing major. Some work's been done on it, so it's going to improve. Like everything with running injuries, it just takes a bit of time. So patience. But 2021 hopefully is going to be a better year for running. So you'd think 2020, with all that happened, I effectively lost my new job role. We had COVID, the world went upside down, and I had multiple injuries. You'd think that'd be a pretty poor year. And I did have some definite low moments through the year. But on the whole, I'm trying to look at it as in a positive way. I was off for a heck of a long time in 2021. I needed time off. I've done the same job for a long time. I totally needed a change, which I'm sure lots of you can relate to. So being off for a long time, being able to go out when I was able to go out and go running in the area I live in amazing weather for lots of the year as well, has been great. Also, I've really enjoyed getting into YouTube, learning how to do stuff, speaking with you guys, getting a relationship with you guys. It's been really good. I didn't think of that at all at the beginning of this journey. I just thought, post videos, see what happens. But you get to communicate, comment with loads of other YouTubers out there and people that comment on your videos. And it's just nice. It's really good. I've really enjoyed it. I almost forgot. End of year totals for subscribers was 640. So that's where I got to in my first year, 640 subscribers. Thank you. So thank you, all of you. Thanks very much to everyone who watches, comments, likes, does the views. Thanks for coming along, being part of my YouTube journey. Hopefully 2021, I'll be able to get back to running long miles, maybe even do some races, who knows. And hopefully I'll be able to bring you along. So thanks for being here, thanks for watching, and let's hope everyone has a great 2021.